This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Hold up, taste go wild when I pull up. They all on me like they want some. Think I got what you need, well I have none. Hop off, you're a freak and I'm handsome. Slide up in the club like 2 Chainz. This snake is on top of the full chain. Stand out like a star, no new name. All these nuts in my DMs, no message back. I just see them, I get them hooked and I reel in the pro. I'm back, we completed. I'm a snake on this lane. I'm speeding my poison. The flame on that lead out on me. No pain, we dripping in venom, so baby. I'm a VIP.
MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Let's see. Did it take 700 episodes to come to that lovely conclusion that it does not matter who the host is? Anyways, today is Friday, January the 20th. Yes, that day. It is day 20th of the year because, January 20th and the 20th of the year so far would kind of align in that fashion, and that means that there's only 345 days left to go. So how are you? How are you doing today? So I have to tell you, I am super excited about today as we get into this, and it is the 700th episode of this lovely show, the Rated R Safety Show. I sit back and look at this and go, how the hell did we make it this far? It started off as a rant show many, many, many moons ago. And we said, hey, let's get together and complain about some a-holes, some assholes that are out there, about what they're doing and their conferences, the way their systems are set up, the way that they do the stuff. And, sometimes we just need to have some things to remember, some of the things that we've been through so far, And I look around and I go, I would have never thought of what that rant show began as back then to what it is today, all thanks to you. And listen, I can sit here probably for an endless amount of time and thank you for being a listener and, at this point now in life, being a viewer and go, wow, I didn't think that we would make it to 700. Not that I ever had some aspiration on number on how far we would make it, but man, 700 seems to be not a thing that I thought would happen. And the interactions and the stuff that happens day in and day out, it's always amazing to me to take a look around and go, what the hell is going on and why it is something that still happens. It's amazing to me, though, that some people still believe that this is some level of X-rated show. I talk to people, they realize that we have all of this stuff that we have going on, all 18 shows on Safety FM, not counting the 6 shows on the radio big side of the house. But one of the things that is always mentioned to me in the first couple of things that people say is about the Rated R Safety Show, but confusing it with the X-rated show. And it's interesting because I was talking to someone earlier this week and how we thought some of the things that we said on the show at the time were not going to be acceptable But as our world continued to change, it became super acceptable. And people were able to determine some of the things that they didn't like about work, some of the things they did like about work, and some of the things that they just thought it was straight up corporate bullshit. And I'm okay with all of that. I'm okay with talking about all of that. Now, if we're gonna be 100 here, there was some times that I had some doubts about what the hell was going on. I had some doubts about is this going to be the career choice that I should be making? Listen, if we're going to get out there and talk about all this, at one point I thought about just folding both shows and just going straight up mixture of this and doing the Rated R Safety Show and the Jay Allen Show. I thought that would be the better way of doing all of this. That was really some of the thought process at one point. Opted against it, and now we just kind of have a happy medium of everything that we do. But listen, just to kind of get on point and make sure that we stay on track on the show today, thank you. Seriously, thank you. Would have never thought we would have made it this far. Still, it's still one of those things that I enjoy, waking up every day, getting my ass to this happy little studio and doing the stuff that we get to do together. It has been my privilege and honor to this point. We'll see how the next series of events moves forward as we are talking. So let's get into it right away about some of the things that are going to be happening today on the show. It is Freeform Friday, so don't worry about that. We're not changing any of that portion. So we will go wherever the path leads, because that's kind of the way that it goes around here. We are a show that talks about safety in the news and safety. So don't worry about that aspect. We're going to talk about some of the safety stuff. We're going to talk about some of the new stuff. And then we are going to do some of the things that are going on inside of the world of everything else. So don't worry about that. If you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com. That's always a good time as we were doing that. I spoke with Sheldon Primus yesterday, as he's one of the people that has hosted the show at one point or another. He wanted to come in and do some stuff. I was not ready for that for today. So hopefully in the very near future we'll get something recorded together, because I do miss having the Sheldon on here. Just a little FYI there. Anyways, let's get into this right away. Let's start talking about what the hell was trending, and then also essentially what exactly is going to be on tap today.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so taking a look around, former FTX leadership says the company is actually solvent and that the law firm seeking to oversee the bankruptcy case should be kicked to the curb. We can talk a little bit more about that. The Supreme Court also comes up empty in the investigation trackdown of the source of the leak of last year's Dobbs decision. We can talk a little bit more about that as we move forward. Also, new music for Friday. We'll talk about that. And then, in an interesting series of events, Alec Baldwin gets charged for his role in the Rust shooting. We'll talk a little bit more about that and some of the controversy that's come up about that. And then find out what happens when American royalty collides with a royal family. That was something that was making the sequence. I am sure that will not be something that we will be talking about on this show, because that's not just what we do. So Freeform Radio, callinradio.com will get you moving and grooving, everything that you want to do as we are talking today on this lovely Friday. So don't worry about that. And then if you want to take a look at the visual side, you can go into safetyfm.com, radiobig.fm, and that will get you moving and grooving into the sequence of events of what's going on right there. Anyways, I wonder if I should mention this. Should I mention this? One of our sponsors, mobilemobile.io, before we get into the news sequence, I want to reference this today because we run their ads. They are offering, they're doing a flash sale, and I want to reference this because I thought it was an awesome flash sale. They normally give you 10 days free to try out their network, but if you transfer your phone number over there and decide to go with them, they will give you 100 days free during their flash sale. 100 days free. Which is crazy. I mean, and I will tell you, I love this. I love the cell phone service. I've had it for quite some time, and I'm not just saying that. It's really what I'm using. Mobilemobile.io for more information. Anyways, I don't even know why I got so excited about that part. It was kind of exciting. There you go. So anyways, with that being said, let's do this. Here is the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. President Biden is offering his support to the people of California after storms slammed parts of the state in recent weeks.
The country is here for you and with you. We are not leaving till things are built back and built back better than they were before.
During his trip to the Central Coast on Thursday, Biden said officials are cautiously optimistic that the worst of the storms are over. The series of atmospheric rivers brought heavy flooding and left at least 21 people dead. Biden toured some of the damage and met with first responders, noting that FEMA and other federal help are on the ground. The White House says it will not negotiate on raising the debt ceiling. Deputy Press Secretary Olivia Dalton spoke to reporters on Air Force One Thursday and said Congress must raise the debt ceiling without conditions. Her comments came as House Republicans are demanding spending cuts to reduce the debt. The Supreme Court still doesn't know who leaked the bombshell abortion draft ruling. Brian Shook reports.
In May, Politico published a leaked draft of a Supreme Court opinion on a case that eventually led to Roe v. Wade being overturned. The leak, which turned out to be accurate, led to a political firestorm and accusations of insider sabotage. A draft report out Thursday says the High Court has no clue who leaked the draft. I'm Brian Shook.
The State Department is launching a new program that's going to make it easier for U.S. citizens to sponsor refugees. The private sponsorship program called Welcome Corps is modeled on previous efforts by the department to resettle Afghans who fled when the Taliban took over and Ukrainians who fled the Russian invasion. In the initial phase of the program, private sponsors will be paired with refugees who have already been approved for resettlement in the U.S. And a man who was adrift in a sailboat in the Caribbean for more than 3 weeks said he survived by eating ketchup, garlic granules, and stock cubes. Elvis Francois was swept out to sea in December while making repairs off the island of St. Martin in the Dutch Antilles. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
For feature story news in Tokyo, I'm Nora Weinig. Stocks fell again in the US as investors digested a mixed batch of economic data, and traders reacted to news that the US has hit its debt ceiling. Candidates to replace Jacinda Ardern as New Zealand's Prime Minister are expected to emerge ahead of a leadership vote on Sunday. And the spat between South Korea and Iran deepens as the two nations summoned each other's envoys. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
President Biden says he has no regrets amid an ongoing investigation into his handling of classified documents.
I think you're going to find there's nothing there. I have no regrets. I'm following what the lawyers have told me they want me to do. It's exactly what we're doing. There's no there.
He made the comments Thursday while touring recent storm damage in California. After the documents from his time as vice president were found at his Delaware home and an office, Biden noted his team is fully cooperating with the Justice Department's probe. A special counsel has been appointed to oversee the inquiry. The president added he's looking forward to getting resolved quickly. Union membership in the U.S. fell to an all-time low last year. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported on Thursday that the percentage of American workers who belong to a union fell to 10.1% in 2022, down from 10.3% the year before. The shrinkage in union membership comes despite a surge in organizing efforts. The National Labor Relations Board, which oversees union elections, reported a 53% increase in petitions to form or join unions last year. T-Mobile is investigating a data breach that could affect millions. Trey Thomas has more.
The data breach could impact as many as 37 million T-Mobile accounts. The telecoms company said on Thursday that it identified malicious activity and contained it. T-Mobile said no sensitive data such as financial information was compromised. I'm Trey Thomas.
And the best weekend in football begins Saturday with the next divisional round in the NFL playoffs. The Jacksonville Jaguars visit the top-seeded Kansas City Chiefs, who will be looking to advance to their fifth consecutive AFC championship. The New York Giants will visit the NFC's top seed, the Philadelphia Eagles, on Saturday night. The action resumes Sunday when the Cincinnati Bengals visit the Bills in Buffalo. It'll mark their first meeting since Damar Hamlin had a heart attack on the field. The Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers will meet in the final game of the weekend on Sunday. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to a renowned safety expert, Dr. Jay Allen, on Safety FM. Changing safety cultures, One broadcast and one podcast at a time. Join the fun on social media and find us on Facebook at Safety FM.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Jay Allen in the morning on radio.
Okay, there you go. 19 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this fantastic 700th episode Friday. Yeah, 700. Yeah, 700 is what I just said. So there you go. Anyway, so let's talk about this because there's a lot going on inside of the shit list and there's a little bit of time for us to hang out. So let's get through it real quick. Disgrace, cyber crypto man, Sam Bankman-Fried and the FTX top lawyer Daniel Friedberg appear to be launching a counteroffensive in the company's bankruptcy case, centering on its use of the tax law firm Sullivan & Cromwell. Worth remembering, earlier this month, the news broke that Friedberg had already been cooperating with the federal investigation for months. Now, in a lengthy article, SBF has laid out the case of FTX and the new management and lawyers having accounted for more than $400 million in cash sittings in the FTX bank accounts. But the case was built on the assumption that uses of information that he has admitted not having access to. When SBF stepped down as the company's head, he lost access to the company's financial data. So that which makes it a little bit more interesting as we are talking. Worth remembering, in the earlier days of the collapse, SBF was unable to produce simple bank records to support the claims that the company had funds to back up customer accounts. Also worth remembering, there is an estimated $8 billion, yes, I said with a B, $1 billion worth of assets, but FTX apparently total lack of accounting systems make this impossible to determine for certain where it's at. And if you think that's bad, it gets worse. In court filings on Thursday, Freeberg asserts that Sullivan and Cromwell was the primary outsourcing counsel for FTX U.S. operations and the two subsidiary companies that, that would seriously conflict with the interests of the firm that also represents the company in its bankruptcy. Freeberg also asserts that the company is solvent. Today, a judge will decide if Sullivan and Cromwell can move forward as the company's counsel throughout the proceedings. Meanwhile, John Ray, the fixer that brought in to manage the FTX bankruptcy, said Thursday that he's considering reopening a trading platform to help recover more customer funds. I did say recover customer funds. Speaking on bankruptcy, well, there's another interesting set of events. Regal Cinema is closing 39 locations as part of a parent bankruptcy filing. So, I mean, it's getting weird out there. So let's talk about the cryptocurrency world. And what are you thinking? Is this something that you're willing to invest to? Is this something that you go, okay, it makes sense to me, let's invest in some crypto? Or are you sitting back and going, none of this is worth its while as we are talking? I don't know. It's so strange for me.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so take a listen to this. On the same day that Netflix announced a boom in subscription, founder Reed Hastings announced that he's stepping down as co-CEO, but will stay on the as executive chairman. He'll be replaced as co-CEO role by the company's current chief operating officer. The streaming giant announced more than 7.6 million new subscriptions for the last quarter. At the same time, they rolled out a cheaper ad supported tier. However, Netflix said that many of those new subscriptions are in the discounted tier. So there you go. So yes, you are going to acquire some new subscribers, but let's talk about it. You did jack up the price of the higher tier. It's just how it goes. Listen, I understand inflation. I understand on how this goes. Believe me, my bank account continues to shrink, so I understand how inflation's working. But you have to look at it also from some level of standpoint that just because you have a lower tier offering does not necessarily mean that's where people are going to stick around to. I will talk to a lot of people that I consider cord cutters. And they'll tell me that they'll jump around from streaming service to streaming service opposed to just hanging out in one. And I get it. It makes sense to me. Anyways, China's space agency appears to have lost contact with the Mars rover. It's first powered down in May of last year to conserve energy during the cold season on the red planet and was programmed to reactivate in December, and it never did. Worth noting, while the space agency hasn't publicly made an announcement, sources leaked at the South China Morning Post that something was amiss. Well, yeah, sounds like the communication aspect was definitely a miss. Anyways, a Boston family visiting Florida got quite a surprise on a fishing trip when the 12-year-old son reeled in an 11-foot-long, 450-pound great white shark onto the boat. The boat's captain said that he worked with the boy for almost an hour to reel in the not knowing what he was putting with such a big fight with. After measuring and weighing it, the boat crew tagged the shark, which will assist researchers in studying migration patterns. So there you go. I mean, I don't know if you were fighting with a 450-pound fish for some period of time, and what do you do here? And then listen. If you're going to put this thing on a boat, 450 pounds? I mean, this must be a pretty big boat. I want to talk about weight distribution as we're talking. Anyway, residents of a Florida town are complaining about, the permeating toxic smell, but no one is sure where it's coming from. Other than retching discomfort, the other residents of Mount Dora also fear that the odor could be coming from something poisonous. After more than 3 years of dealing with this, the city is finally doing something about it. Hold on, 3 years? So you have some poisonous smell for 3 years and don't realize it? Anyway, city leadership say that they're investigating in a device to locate the source of the stink. Current guesses include nearby landfill, water treatment plant, or even some factories. So there you go. Let me talk about this real quick because interesting stuff happens in Mount Dora. I got a good old friend, Jeff Adam, friend of mine, friend of the show. Should we call him friends of the show? Yeah, he's friends of the show. He interacted in the past with us, blah, blah, blah. But he is doing a vlog series. And, Jeff goes into some very interesting stuff as he does his vlog series. And he recently did a vlog series in Mount Dora where apparently there was some underground bunkers that were built many, many years ago. And it was because people were freaking out about potential, we'll say some potential things that could happen war-tastic style. And he went to go look to see where this bunker was located because people have said that it's there for years in Mount Dora. And he went on the search of what the hell was going on.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's start talking about some things that are going on in the charts and what is streaming this weekend. So if you're hanging out at home not doing much, new to Amazon Prime is Hercules. New to Hulu, it'll be One Way, Dig, Happening, and The Tax Collector. I don't really know if we want to be talking about The Tax Collector already with everything going on right there. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick. Unfortunately, I have some sad news to share today about the passing of David Crosby, a founding member of Byrds and Crosby, and also Steels and Nash has died. He passed away on Thursday, according to a statement from their rep. No cause of death was shared. One day before his passing, he tweeted a comment about heaven, writing, "I heard the place is overrated, cloudy." He was 81 at the time of his passing. So there you go. That was kind of a big shocker yesterday going around with everything that was happening. So there you go. Anyways, an international investigation has failed to determine who leaked the draft of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade yesterday. While the marshal of the court oversaw the interview with about 100 court staff, they focused on more of 30 clerks for the justices. Even after turning over their phones, the investigation found no incriminating evidence. Worth noting, they also concluded that it is very unlikely that someone breached the court data network, but also the remote work policy made it easier for staff to take a look at sensitive information. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about this. The 2024 presidential primary season is heating up with Nikki Haley strong hinting that she'll throw in her hat into the ring. She tells Fox News that she'll make the decision soon, but adds, I've never lost a race. I'm not going to lose now. So there you go. And by the way, her birthday is today. She turns 51, if you want to know that. So there you go. Anyways, with that being said, it is time to bring in some Smalls of the John. And let's have him talk a little bit about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, January 20th, 2023. The sell-off in equities deepened Thursday, helping to confirm a top in the index, but all is not lost. The S&P 500 is still showing support at the short-term 30-day moving average, where it may be able to stage a comeback. The catalyst that could do it is earnings and economic data due out next week. The Q4 earnings reporting season hits high gear next week and brings reports from Microsoft, Verizon, Johnson & Johnson, all bellwethers for their respective industries. The economic calendar is also full next week, but the only report that matters comes out Friday. That's the PCE Price Index. That should confirm a peak in inflation and may fall more than expected. The risk for the market is that inflation may subside and not brighten the outlook for 2023 and cap any gains that may form. The takeaway is the consensus figures for forward S&P 500 figures are more important than ever. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the información, because it is important as we are talking. That is for sure, no doubt about that, as things are moving and grooving inside of the world of the multiverse. That is for sure. Let me tell you what I found on this side of the equation. The Dow lost about 252 points to close out at 33,044 on Thursday. The S&P lost about 30 points to close at 3,898, while the NASDAQ lost about 104 points to close at 10,852. West Texas Intermediate closed at $80 and Brent crude at 86. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.37 on Thursday, following an afternoon spike in Bitcoin, making it around $21,000 on Thursday evening. There was more than 3,475 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Thursday, with about 244 such cancellations. Tonight, Mega Million drawings will be for $20 million jackpot or a $10.6 million cash payout. Saturday night's Powerball drawing will be for $473 million jackpot or a $255.7 million cash payout. So there you go. If you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. Should we talk about albums that are dropping today? Do we care? Do we care? Do we care? Let's talk about some of them. Let's not talk about not all. So Abracadabra, Shapes and Colors, The Beauty Pill, Blue Period, Half-Life with like a Jungle out there, Manskin with Rush, which we've been talking a lot about over there on Radio Big, The Murder Capital with Gigi's Recovery, and we'll mention this one for the sake of doing so. Spice World, there's no I in Spice, which in Spice World, there's no I in Spice World. There is I in Spice World. Anyways, so there you go. So that's what's going on over there. 32 minutes past the top of the hour, as we are still hanging out on this lovely celebratory day as we are doing this. So let's talk real quick about some things that are happening, that are moving, that are grooving, and all that kind of fun stuff, because I think it's going to be important for us to focus on some of the things that are going on inside of the world. So what I want to do right now is jump into a news story that started breaking yesterday, and this is what's happening. Alec Baldwin could be facing years in prisons for the deadly 2021 shooting on the film set in New Mexico for the movie Rust.
The enhanced involuntary manslaughter definition could be punished up to a mandatory 5 years in jail here.
Okay, so NBC's News Von Hillard says that Baldwin was charged with 2 counts of an involuntary manslaughter for death of the cinematographer. She was shot and killed when Baldwin fired a prop gun loaded with real bullets. Baldwin has yet to make an official plea, but he has always maintained his innocence. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the person in charge of the prop guns on the movie set, is also facing the same charges as Baldwin. NBC's Von Hillard says that Alec Baldwin and Hannah Gutierrez-Reed could get a shorter sentence from the jury.
And the extent to which sentencing would be incurred by Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed, that it would be punishable by up to 18 months in jail and a $5,000 fine.
Hillard says the jury will determine whether to convict or acquit both Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed.
The district attorney in this report lays out that it will also be left up to the jury to determine the extent to which the manslaughter applies to both of these individuals.
So it's going to be an interesting case. Let's just be realistic about this, because as we are talking about it, it's considered involuntary manslaughter. Involuntary manslaughter. And I don't think that he did it with any kind of purpose of doing it. I mean, it wasn't like I think he went on there and said, hey, this sounds like a good idea to do today. I don't think anybody came up with that determination. Listen to this as well. Actor Alec Baldwin could be on a tough legal road ahead following the decision of the New Mexico District Attorney to charge the actor with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Attorney and host of The Weekend, Michael Brown, says that Baldwin's previous statement could hurt him in court.
everything that he said, including the denials of shooting the gun, when in fact we know that he shot the gun, that's going to be used in the jury in the case before the jury.
Brown also said the district attorney's office likely was cautious in his decision because Baldwin is a high-profile actor. Armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed will also be charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Brown explained the decision took about 15 months.
Involved a movie star, and involved a movie star who was out publicly talking about the case. So I think they wanted to make sure they had their ducks in a row.
What else? Brown also explained that what charge of involuntary manslaughter means.
Involuntary manslaughter is essentially a negligent disregard for human life. It's different than voluntary manslaughter, where it's a wanton disregard of human life.
I mean, the part here is that the court of public opinion started the moment that this matter actually happened 15 months ago or so. And listen, people were talking about it back then. People are still going to be talking about it now. And if you listen to the definition of involuntary manslaughter, let's think about what occurred. He was handed a prop gun. He shot the prop gun. And allegedly, when he shot it, she was killed by him. By the bullet that came out of the gun. I wasn't there, cannot say that that's exactly the case or not. But if you take a look at that definition, and it is the actual gun that he had in hand with a real action live bullet inside of there, you know automatically that the definition, and if what occurred came from the pistol or gun that he had, then you know automatically that those terms match. It's going to be a very interesting time as we are talking. I mean, as much as we look into a whole bunch of stuff here, it's going to be interesting as we see this. Anyways, talking about the gun stories, let's talk about some other things that are going on inside of this little world.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
At least one person has been hospitalized, and the suspect is dead after a shooting on Thursday in Walmart in southern Indiana. Sergeant Anna Gray from the Evansville Police Department says that an armed man opened fire on officers as soon as they entered the store.
I don't know if he shot, how many other people he shot at. As far as any other people inside the store, we're still trying to gather that information. Obviously, there's going to be multiple witnesses that we have to talk to, but he certainly did fire multiple shots at officers.
It happened just before 10 p.m. in Evansville. Officers fired back and killed the suspect. At least one person who was shot before the police arrived was taken into the hospital. Officials say that there could be more victims. Evansville is about 170 miles southwest of Indianapolis. Sergeant Anna Gray from the Evansville Police Department says the shootout happened throughout the Walmart.
Officers went in, they were trying to locate the suspect, and he was all over the store. He would shoot at officers and move. So it wasn't contained to just one area inside.
So a lot of stuff going on there, that is for sure, as we are talking about this. Definitely not something that you think that you're going to be talking about on a Friday. So I don't even know. I don't even know what to tell you anymore. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show. We are 38 minutes into this thing. That is for sure.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
Radio.
What is dedication?
I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy, and I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much, from the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between. It really is so special, and boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You can say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You can ask on your couch while you binge watch.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
What do guys like besides pizza and morning sex?
Jay Allen in the morning.
It's so bizarre and unnatural.
It's all good. On radio. Big.
Papers and stack them.
Go 43 minutes past the top of the hour. This still is the Rated R Safety Show, hour one of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. And if you have been here throughout the 700, you know that this is one of my favorites. This is one of the favorites that I've had in regards of opening up the show. This is The Viper by Sweeto. Available on iTunes and Spotify, especially Spotify. Oh yes, little Viper song never hurt anyone. Hit it.
I'm a VIP.
Okay, so thank you to Pseudo for this one. Yes, you know, I'm still kind of in shock. 700 episodes in. Thank you for everyone who has contributed into this thing, good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, I always have loved the people that, you know, want to battle it out inside of the box. And what do I mean by that? You know, the little chat box thing that's available on social media. And I love on how pissed off people get when they get into those social media chat boxes, not coming to the realization that I never, well, I guess later on into the show, I really never checked them. Because it became a whole thing where it was like interrupting this and interrupting that. And that's why call-in radio became a thing. So that way you could chat over there. I could take a look at it. I could move forward, but I'm not looking at up to the 30 different social media platforms that you're posting on. Just kind of the way that it works. Anyway, it's been a fun time, fun ride so far. That is for sure. But if we do remain consistent on one thing on the show, I want to make sure that this is the item that we remain consistent on. And that's about telling you about our friends at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline or anything related to suicide prevention. Let's just be realistic. But if we're talking particularly about the Suicide Crisis Lifeline, they can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and loved ones. They also have the best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. You can text the word TALK to 988 or just call 988. That'll get you moving and grooving into the correct direction. That is for sure. Listen, this conversation is an all-important one. There is no doubt about that. I don't ever want there to be any doubt when we're starting to talk about this on how important it is. The world needs you. We can't move forward without you. We're all here to do our own part. But listen, it is important for you to be here. If you are struggling, 988lifeline.org. 988. If you can't remember anything else, 988, 988, 988. That will get you further down the path. As we are hanging out on this lovely Friday, let's get into some more newso, because I think that that's what we're supposed to do here, as I am sitting behind here and talking about all the stuff that is going on inside of the world here. So let's talk about some movies coming out this weekend. If you want to go to the movie theater, Missing, when her mother disappears while on vacation in Colombia with her new boyfriend. June's search for answers are hindered by international red tape. That comes out today, PG-13. Women Talking, another PG-13 opening wide release today. In 2010, the women of the isolated religious community grapple with reconciling the brutal reality with their faith. That's available starting today as well. So there you go. So I don't know, some stuff to think about as we are talking. Anyways, this takes the cake or not. Let's talk about it. The head of Food Watchdog has raised some eyebrows, saying that people should not bring treats like donuts, cakes, and other sweets into the office to share with coworkers for the sake of their colleagues' health. Oh my God, I almost said professional. Professor Susan Jebb, chairwoman of the Food Standards Agency in the UK, said that while it is the choice to eat treats, sweet treats, I guess that is, people can always help others by providing supportive environment, presumably by not tempting them with baked goods or other delicacies. Speaking in a capacity, she also liked the tempting of coworkers with sugary foods to passive smoking, and said that their advertising of junk food is undermining people's free will. Wow. Who beat in her Count Chocula? I mean, what the hell's going on there? And does she have the idea that would happen to me around her? One day I brought in a celery and then a carrot stick instead of donuts. I mean, it's just kind of a weird thing. Oh, I mean, I don't know. I really like beautiful people. Maybe there should be no beautiful people here. I mean, I don't know. It's just such a weird thing. It's such an odd thing to talk about. It is the illusion of choice. If you want to bring something in, shouldn't you just be able to bring it in? I mean, I don't know. This got weird. It got weird quick.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's get some John Smalls inside of here. Let him get you motivated for this lovely Friday. Let's do that right now.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by George. Catherine Cook said, "If you're not making mistakes, then you're not making decisions." I love that. We've all made mistakes. That's okay. Just make sure you learn from your mistakes. A few years ago, the company my wife and I own, we had to take a different company to court. In the beginning, the owner of the other company called me and said that he was digging up dirt on us and we didn't want this stuff to get out. I told him, go ahead and feel free to share anything you want to. He seemed a little shocked by that. Now, you need to understand, it's not because I'm perfect. I am far from perfect. But every mistake I've ever made in my life, I've confessed it and I've learned from it. I believe in the old adage, if you mess up, fess up. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. How you start your day makes a huge difference when it comes to managing your glucose. And if you're trying to make bigger changes, like reduce the risk of insulin resistance, there are several things you can do and stack on top of each other to increase the impact of your efforts. First is consuming proteins before carbs. Studies have shown that eating proteins first leads to up to 30% lower glucose response compared to eating sugar or carbs before protein. Second is eating fiber, especially soluble fibers like chia and flax seeds. In addition to increased satiety, they feed our gut bacteria and optimize metabolic function. The next one is lemon water or apple cider vinegar. Consuming either one reduces glucose levels by 30%. Although simple, these three things make a tremendous impact on how your body produces insulin. For more information on wellness, check out AlysaMorgan.com.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. In Matthew 18, Jesus tells a story of a man who had been forgiven a debt totaling millions of dollars. And yet he wouldn't forgive a man who owed him a few $1,000s. How he could do such a thing is beyond me. Yet that's exactly what he did. But then again, maybe it's not beyond me. I mean, I've done the same thing. You probably have too. God forgives me an incalculable sin debt, and yet I won't forgive those who have wronged me? What am I thinking? Matthew 18 says, his servant fell to his knees and begged him, "Be patient with me and I'll pay it back." But he refused. Forgive us our sins, O Lord, as we forgive those who have sinned against us. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
More hits to help you work. Because to get rich, you gotta work hard.
Yeah, dude, like I just made so much money that I could just sit around on my ass all day and play video games.
Wait, I forgot about Dogecoin.
Dogecoin rules!
Dogecoin rules. There you go. As we are talking 52 minutes past the top of the hour, as you and I are doing our thing. Anyway, San Diego Customs and Border Protection have been seen just about everything when it comes to smuggling things into the U.S. from Mexico, but this is a new one. Bree Tennis has the story.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection have been seeing an increase in eggs being brought across the border, which is illegal. Eggs fall under agriculture, and that's just not allowed. They say it's all due to the avian flu that killed millions of chickens. If caught, penalties and fines can reach $10,000. I'm Bree Tennis, NBC News Radio.
Okay, so no Eggies coming across this way as we are talking, that is for sure. Take a listen to this. Alcohol has only been legal to sell in Zeeland since 2007, and the city is now weighing to allowing it to be sold on Sunday. City manager Tim Clunder says that the vote in 2006 for alcohol sales 6 days a week passed by only 40 votes, but says the community has accepted the sales.
To our existing license holders, they just have done a really good job of respecting the community's values.
Yeah, there you go. He has also been told that the city council have researched Sunday sales after the liquor store owner pointed out that to them that Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve are busy for them. Restaurants and bars and both are on Sundays this year. Zeeland is one of the communities in Ottawa County that does not allow alcohol to be sold on Sunday. City manager Tim Clunder has been told that the city councils to research Sunday liquor sale.
Would be willing to explore the possibility of Sunday sales.
So there you go. A lot of interesting stuff going on there. Can we sell some alcohol on a Sunday? Anyways, a Massachusetts man is sentenced to spend more than 3 years in federal prison for making hundreds of thousands of dollars in counterfeit 100 bills. Trey Thomas has more.
allegedly had a counterfeit money-making operation in his Quincy home. Prosecutors say more than 4,000 fake $100 bills recovered from around the country have been linked to Cardona's counterfeiting operation. In addition to his prison time, Cardona is also ordered to spend 2 years on supervised release and to pay a $5,000 fine. I'm Trey Thomas.
Now, that $5,000 fine, can it be in his counterfeit money, or does it need to be in some Brillo? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking the question. I mean, the man has some counterfeit, money operation thing going on. I mean, allegedly. So let's go from there. Take a listen to this. Shelby Township Police are urging people to make sure their vehicle doors are locked after cars have been broken into and stolen. Police officer Carrie Bennett says that 90% of the crimes could have been avoided if the doors were locked.
Had a ton of vehicle thefts, vehicles stolen, vehicle break-ins all throughout the township, and it's not only in Shelby Township, but all over Macomb County.
Authorities also are counting against leaving the vehicles running in the driveways to warm up with no one inside. There you go. Shelby Township Police Officer Carrie Bennett has this advice for people.
Lock your cars. Yes, the reoccurring thing is people are not locking their cars, and they're leaving their keys and their valuables in the car.
Sounds like a good idea to lock your car. If you in doubt, lock the car. So there you go. Some things to talk about. Anyways, we're looking at some things that happened back on this day. Back in 2009, Barack Obama is inaugurated as the 44th president of the United States of America. He is also the first man of color to hold office. That happened back in 2009. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about it. Evan Peters turns 36, Kevin Parker 37, Will Young 44, Nikki Haley 51, Gary Barlow turns 52, Skeet Ulrich turns 53 today, Stacey Dash 56, Rainn Wilson 57, James Denton 60, Lorenzo Lamas 65, Bill Maher, 67. Paul Stanley turns 71. And Buzz Aldrin turns 93 today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those as well. Take a Walk Outdoors Day, National Coffee Break Day, Penguin Awareness Day, National Cheese Lover Day, National Butter Crunch Day, National Disc Jockey Day, International Day of Acceptance, National Camcorder Day. There you go. Some things to think about that you can celebrate today if you are so inclined to do so. A lot of stuff for sure as we are talking. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, try this. Among the things that are so simple, even a child can operate them. What are they? Their parents. Think about that for a moment. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's your worst example of procrastination? I have a friend that they will be thinking today that I am talking about them after a conversation I had with them yesterday. That'll be an interesting one. Also, if you need a phone starter, that was a phone starter. If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. About 25% of us do not know this about our significant other. What is it? Their favorite salad dressing. Would they have to eat salad first? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's something to think about. I'm pretty sure my wife doesn't know my favorite salad dressing because I avoid salad like the plague. There you go. Anyways, thank you for listening to this. Thank you for hanging out during our 700th episode of this thing. Yeah, I didn't think we would make it this far, but thanks to you, we have, and I really do appreciate it. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm if you want to come and hang out as we do the things that we do over there. Also, don't forget about our event coming up on March 6th through the 9th, our Safety Differently workshop taking place at the Hotel Santa Fe in Santa Fe, New Mexico. We'd love to see you there. That is for sure. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Look at everything as though you're seeing it either for the first time or the last time. Think about that. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
Duh.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.